What's up? Welcome to Spiritual X-Man Experiences. It's your boy X. Wakanda forever. I got out my phone, set it up, set it up. Lord have mercy. Set it up where I can actually, you know, use my hands and stuff. But what's up? How y'all doing? All right. We are going to jump into the next video, talking about. Yeah, I was gonna fire up my camera. Is there you go. All right. We're going to jump into emotional lack. Now, this one is, a little bit trickier as far as in the aspect of being able to truly come into awareness and oneness. Um, the awareness part is, I would say, will be a difficult task because within oneself we have a lot of denial, um, hurt, pain, trauma. Yeah, excuse the smoke, got some lavender going. Um, Regrets, remorse, but it it truly tests oneself as far as being in denial with oneself. Um, a lack of mentality as far as emotionality comes, if that's a word. If not, it's a word now. Um, is a little bit difficult. Is a little bit difficult. It is. It's a lot of shedding of layers within oneself and being completely honest and real with oneself. And I know, we could think that, oh, well, I am real with myself. If I'm real with anybody, I'm real with myself. Emotionally, sometimes, there's things that come up that has happened in the past that, we try to bury. We try to hide. We try to overcompensate in other aspects of our lives. We, necessarily don't want to face because it's hard. It's difficult, and the one person we can't run from is ourselves. So that's what makes it even more important as far as being able to really truly come into fruition with our authentic self. Now, when it comes to becoming aware of it, we have to take alone time. That's that's one key. A lot of times we try to heal our emotional aspect of ourselves with others, having other people involved, with their opinions and their emotional standpoint on how it is that we view ourselves. Not saying that that's bad and all. No, but by all means, if you have healthy individuals around you who don't want to see anything but you flourish, and that want to see you achieve your highest good and your highest potential, it does help. But it still takes that alone time to be alone with yourself and hear that small little whisper, that conscience, that intuition, spirit talking to you and being able to move you in ways that nobody else can. Whether you say God, Spirit, Source, Gaia, Allah, Buddha, whatever now you want to plug in there. Um, when it comes to emotional lack, that's something nobody else can feel outside of ourselves. That's something we have to essentially do within ourselves. Within, everybody grows differently. I'm thinking about this song by, I believe, Shantae Moore, and I forgot the young man's name that sings a duet with her. But it's called "Grow," and they said we grow different. Not everybody grows at the same rate. A little bit, but we grow differently. Not everybody's going to grow at the same rate. Not everybody is going to progress at the same rate. Not everybody's going to grow and progress with the same things over the same time frame. It's it's building a personal relationship with yourself and with spirit, with your soul, with your intuition, with God. Um, because a lot of time, especially in Western society, we're taught that, when we do find that one, or, in a relationship, that the other person is our other half. They complete us. They, you know, bring something that we don't have. And in certain aspects, yes. Like as far as, you know, whatever your strengths are is probably their weaknesses, and whatever your weaknesses are is probably their strengths. But we can't search for that outside of ourselves. That just when we do come into a relationship, it just complements what we already do have and what we can already embrace. Now, where the strength and weaknesses and how that corresponds, it's different for everybody. Everybody's relationship is different, but essentially, like if you have a hard time or a difficult time with, confidence, and still be able to recognize, like, okay, yeah, I can do this on my own, but it's not needing the other person to go, no, yes, you can do this, like, go for it, and constantly having to have that validation outside of ourselves emotionally to know that we can't go forward. It's like swimming with floaties on. It's like, okay, when we don't have those floaties on, which could be, the person in the relationship, then we're going to drown, we're going to sink. But it's having that, well, if you're taking swimming lessons, and then, you're not. You're going to be able to at least doggy paddle, you know? That, yeah, it was okay, example, but work with me. But essentially, it comes from within. That other person can't give us that confidence that, hey, yeah, when these floaties are taken off, that we are going to be able to doggy paddle. That comes from within. And so think of it as, taking swimming lessons. At first it is scary. It's a little bit daunting. You're worried, well, what, can I do this? Can I not? But essentially, we have to learn how to swim on our own. That instructor is not always going to be there. That lifeguard is not always going to be there. There's 100 people in the pool. They're not going to be, okay, well, let me just focus on this one person. It's just not going to happen. So when it comes to emotional lack, that's something that we have to give to ourselves. We have to be able to fill our own cups. If we're feeling lonely or sad, it's like, okay, well, why am I feeling lonely? Why am I feeling sad? Why do I feel incomplete without somebody else? Because if we can't be happy alone, we're not going to be able to be happy with somebody else. And it sounds, kind of backwards. Well, if I'm lonely, being with somebody else is going to counteract that loneliness. Yes and no. That person's not always going to be attached to your hip. You're not Siamese twins, and that person is still constantly going to, be able to be there. Having a partner is having somebody that complements your life, that can walk with you through life, and you them. They're not there to feed us. Where we can feed ourselves. We got two hands, you got a spoon, you got a fork, you could do it. They're not going to be there like, oh, here, let me, you know, feed you to make sure that you're eating, and that's draining. Think about if you were on the other end. Would you want to, unless you're taking care of a baby, you're not going to want to do that. It's getting back to that song. What's the song? uh I forgot how it goes. So it's basically saying, you can't raise a grown man or you can't raise a grown woman. They're already grown. They got to figure out how to do it on their own. And that's something that does come emotionally. And um, being emotionally mature and being able to handle situations emotionally. Now, with that comes, it's okay when things aren't going good. It's okay to not be okay. It doesn't mean that, oh, I have to, be emotionally strong constantly and all the time. That's draining in itself, and that's kind of pushing stuff underneath the rug to the point where it ends up blowing over. Trust me, I get it. I'm a Cancer in Western and Vedic. So when it comes to emotions, I can't escape them even if I wanted to. And from personal experience, it takes, for one, it takes me or anybody with Cancer in their chart, it takes a long time, to really get us to that level where, we could take a lot. We could take a lot emotionally. But especially if you do have Cancer in your chart, it's being able to release that. Whether it's working out, whether it's sitting back in your alone time, getting in tune with your thoughts, meditating, and really coming to like, okay, well, why is it that I feel the way that I'm feeling at this time? Because just feeling it and being aware, that by all means, that is the first step, because that prevents us from reacting. And a reaction is just something that, okay, well, I'm feeling this way, so I'm gonna go do this. And being aware of that and being in tune with oneself and knowing that, okay, well, I feel like this. It's okay for me to be sad or hurt or in pain or feel used or neglected or abandoned. And now I need to explore the deeper causes as to how or why. And a lot of times is, it may be something that happened right then and there, but it's something that, we developed as a defense mechanism from something that started when we were younger. Like the first time we probably felt neglected was when, we was trying to get through a message to our parents or something, trying to talk to our parents, or, maybe it was a situation where you had only one parent, and, being a single parent myself, it's hard for just one parent, especially when you have multiple children, to truly be there for all of them for every single, need. I mean, parents make mistakes too. We're people. Nobody, absolutely nobody is perfect. And, a lot of times, when we do grow up, we're like, dang, my parent did try. And yeah, I held this against them because of blah, 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 blah. But, they actually did try. With emotional lack, when it comes to, because loneliness is one of the biggest ones. Loneliness, not feeling, you know, worthy, um, feeling abandoned, um, betrayal, things of that nature. That's something that we can either allow it to grow, or it can foster and spread and cause, grief not just within ourselves, but in our external environment as well. We can definitely spread that on to other people by projecting and, trying to, in a way, protect ourselves, but in essentially that protection, that defense mechanism is hurting other people, the people that's around us, whether we care about them or not, you know. And when it comes to emotional lack and us working on it within ourselves, we have to truly become aware of ourselves and aware of our own needs and the things that we do need and the things that we don't need and the things that can trigger us and the things that don't, that alleviate, that helps, that heals, and it's really coming into tune with oneself, because emotions is something that's never going to you're never going to be able to completely evade emotions through life. So that is definitely a ongoing process. But once we become aware of ourselves and know our own self value, our own self worth, be able to have healthy boundaries and be able to establish and enforce those boundaries as well. Ears itching. Being able to establish and maintain them in a healthy way. It does take time. At first, you set your boundaries up. You might go off like, hey, what's going on? But as time goes on, and we learn with different people how to communicate better, communicate more clearly, and be able to do it in a loving manner, you know. But essentially, still, we also have to know, like, yeah, we can be straightforward and be like, hey, no, I don't tolerate something like that. That is not okay. That hurt my feelings, and regardless of how that person or the people in that situation react, knowing that I'm only responsible for my emotions, my thoughts, and my actions going forward. You know, I you can express, like, let's say for example, somebody says something, because words can be cutting, and it offends you, and you don't know if that person know or not. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You're like, hey, you know what, I don't like that. That was very offensive. That No, I don't play like that. And they're, oh, well, you taking stuff too hard. And it's like, no, that's just one of my borders. That's just one of my boundaries, and that was my line, and you hopped on over. No, I'm gonna need you to hop right back on over there on the other side of the line. And regardless of how that person acts or responds or um, speak about it, it's still knowing that you can only control you and your thoughts and your emotions and how it is that you react and how it is that you behave. Because and with that comes, that self-worth, that courage to stand up for yourself. I can say from experience, I was one of those people who I had no problem with standing up to others for other people, but when it came to myself, it was more so of a, well, I know how it feels to be hurt, so I don't want to hurt somebody else in that way. So I'll just take the bullet, I'll just take the hit. But then over time, that just starts building up, and whether we're aware of it or not, it will eventually pile up and blow over by something that's probably completely not even related to whatever it is that had happened or was going on. It was just a buildup of emotions and energy that eventually is going to need to be released one way or another. Either we can release it in a healthy way or in a not so healthy way. Either way, that energy is going to come on out. It's going to come out. So it's being aware of that. So now I can come to a place like I had a situation where I felt as if I was being pushed, and it was like, okay, you know what? Wait, time out. I'm not just going to hop into this first thing because it happens to be the first thing. And although the people involved were trying to do nothing but help, like, I get it. I get that you're trying to help me, and things of that nature. But I'm not about to just hop into something I haven't done my research. You might be familiar, you might be comfortable, but this is essentially my life, and I have to weigh my options. I have to, do more. It's like shopping for a car. Yeah, you could want a new car really, really bad, but look around. Just don't sign a lease or a contract into the first thing that you see, because your emotions are there. Be balanced, um, emotionally, mentally, and then form a consensus around that, because that is balance. Is being able to balance your thoughts and your emotions, and not just going by your thoughts and not just going by your emotions. So to get to a place where you can fulfill your own self, fill your own cup, is if you are feeling lonely, there's other things that we can do, like take ourselves out on a date. I know it sounds a little backwards. It's like, okay, but I'm still alone. Yes, but you're doing things. What would you want somebody in a relationship to do for you or with you? I won't necessarily say for you, but if it's like a gift or a present, with you. Go to dinner, go out to the movies, walk around the park. But being able to do that and enjoying it with yourself, alone with yourself, like going out to a park. Yes, at first it might be a little bit awkward, or going to a movies by yourself. It might be a little bit awkward. It might be a little bit difficult. But when you actually do it and you're sitting back, like, hey, you know what? This is actually kind of cool. You know, do the things. What would you do if you were just at home? You would just be at home sulking. It helps a lot of times to remove ourselves from that environment that we are used to doing, and stepping outside of our comfort zone by going to the movies completely alone by ourselves, and enjoying it. You might see somebody else who's sitting there alone, and something funny happens in the movie. You look over, they look over, you're like, yeah, that was funny, and you begin to loosen up and be able to, like, hey, you know what, I can go out on my own and not feel lonely, or man, people are gonna be looking at me and be like, oh my god, this person doesn't have anybody. Look at them, they're so lonely. Though that's fear. That's all that mental blockages that keeps us in our comfort zone and prevents us from stepping out and doing something new that can actually be very healthy and fulfilling. Because if we need somebody to go to the movies with or go out to the park with, and we can't do it by ourselves, how are we truly going to be able to do that with somebody else? That means you're at the movies or at dinner, like, wondering if they're having a good time, so you can have a good time. You know, you go to the movies with somebody and they absolutely don't like the movie, but you loved it. You sitting back, but if we need that person to be there, now you're not having a good time because they're not having a good time. You know, when once we get to that place where we can enjoy our own time by ourselves, just being with ourselves, there's a lot of growth in that. There's a lot of nourishment in that. There's things that you can get with being alone that you can't get with somebody else. You got to think about it. Think about it in a way where, think about the last time where you was alone and you spent regular QT time with yourself. You was like, you came to different epiphanies, different realizations about yourself. Even if it's something as simple as listen to, a song that you heard several times before, and you heard it again, like, man, you know what? I didn't get that from that song. I didn't get that from that. Versus going out to a bar and hearing that song, and it could be a song that comes on that you really, really like, but nobody's on the dance floor dancing to it. So you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna dance to it. Whether if you were at home or in your car, you be sitting there rocking out, regardless of who. It's kind of like, picture it as being in your own car, and a song comes on. You're not necessarily worried about pulling up at a stoplight. You singing your song. You're in your own zone, in your own, having a good time by yourself. You're not worried about if the next person is sitting at the stoplight looking at you like I love pulling up and seeing people, and I see them rocking out to their song. I'm like, man, they is jamming. You know, that's their song. That's their song. I don't know what they listening to, but that is they cut right there. That is they shiitake mushroom. They over there rocking out. They is jamming. You know, shoot, hold on. What song you listen to? Let me roll down my window. You know, I like that song too. You know, and it's being comfortable within our own selves. Think of ourselves as your own car, your own vehicle. You know, when you're driving your car, you're comfortable in your own vehicle. You drive somebody else's car, it's not all that comfortable. You worry about, okay, let me not hit no bump. You know, I don't want them to need the front end alignment because I didn't hit a bump. You know, let me not spill anything because this ain't my stuff. You know, you like, okay, well, you know, I don't want to, let me not go down that road because it's a whole bunch of people and they don't know how to drive usually when they're going down the street. So I don't want to get in no accident. This ain't my car. But when you're in your car, you know every sound, every everything about it. You know. Hold on, that's not right. Or hold on, well, that's not right. Or hey, yeah, you know, you're comfortable in it. So it's being comfortable within our own selves. That's how we're able to feel. That's how we're able to fulfill emotional lack. It's being comfortable in oneself by oneself. Because the only way to be comfortable with oneself is to be with yourself. Is to be with ourselves. Just be. And it does take a lot of mental courage, a lot of emotional courage. You know, when your thoughts start coming back like, man, I'm alone. I can't believe, everybody else is coupled up and I'm alone. You're like, you know what? They're out on dates. I was out on a date not too long ago. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. Sometimes you have to play that reverse psychology with yourself and go, you know what? I'm not going to worry about what everybody else is doing, what everybody else has going on. I'm worried about me right now. I done got a delicious ass plate of food. I'm about to sit here and smash, just be on Twitter or on Facebook. Hell, if you want to take a picture, post it. Like, don't that look good? You know, nobody needs to know. Nobody knows if you're by yourself or not. You know? And even still going out to restaurants and seeing other people sitting by themselves, it you, do you look over and go, man, your dating life must sucks? Some people probably do, but like, you know what? They're out by themselves and they're having a good time. The first time I did it, I was a little. It was a little awkward. It was a little awkward at first. It was last summer, and but I sat down, I ordered my food. It was on, YouTube and Facebook and stuff. Doing what I would usually do at home, but I was out and enjoying. I'm looking around, eating, watching people, having conversations with the servers. To talk to the servers. Sit at the bar area instead of at a table. That way, you could be around other people who are maybe just wanting to get a quick bite of lunch, or dinner, and didn't want to go out with anybody else. You can be able to converse with them. You can be able to converse with the servers. If you're a very loquacious type of person, you can have a conversation with them. We can have a conversation with anyone. You know, nobody knows that you're lonely except for you. Essentially, and it's getting out of that mental state of, oh my god, everybody else is going to think this or think that. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, and I know that is definitely easier said than done, but once you do it and once you get accustomed to being alone and being by yourself, it's very fulfilling. Very fulfilling. We don't need anything outside of ourselves, and especially once we decide to have a spiritual awareness and a spiritual relationship with our creator, with our energy source. you know it's coming to a place where essentially you're not alone, because your creator or your energy source is with you all the time. All the time. It doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter what you do. Like for me, it's God. I know God is by my side every time. Everything I do. going out and going to a park or going to the mall and just walking around, get your mind out of, man, I'm here by myself, just moping around, because that's the energy we're going to bring in. If you're walking around and looking at stuff like, man, this is nice, I don't care. I know some people might be like, man, but I ain't got no money to be going to the mall. Window shop. Window shop. There's nothing wrong with window shopping. When you go to the mall and you do have, a little bit of pocket change, you're not gonna sit there and buy everything at the mall. There might be some stuff that, what, I'm gonna come back for that. I didn't come here for this today, but man, that is nice. That is really nice. Go in here, look around, browse, and look at other people. If you're the type of person who can see children play or other people laughing and smiling and get some type of joy from that, observe other people and, see an old couple walking down holding hands and just go, that is just so adorable. I can't wait until that happens for me. But think about it in a high vibrational way. Not, man, well, that could have been me. It still can be you. But right now, God has you working on yourself. So just, man, that's gonna be me one day. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. Look at them all cute and just old and all wrinkly and just all holding hands and lovey-dovey on each other. We have to we have to transmute it in a positive way, in a positive way that serves us. And that's where using our ego in a high vibrational way comes into play. It's just because I'm not with somebody and I'm doing something off on my own doesn't mean I have to be lonely. That's a state of mind. The emotions that come with it only fuels that state of mind, and vice versa. The thoughts of being alone and not having anybody is fueling those emotions that we don't necessarily want to feel. So if it's the emotions that are triggering the negative thoughts, do something that makes you emotionally happy. If it's getting a gallon of Ben and Jerry's ice cream and curling up and watching your favorite movie or TV show and binge watching Netflix, by all means, go get your Ben and Jerry's, some Rocky Road, sit back with your snuggie on, and just binge watch your Netflix. If that's what you got to do, go ahead, do it. If being outside and just sitting in the sun, go sunbathe. Just go sit out at the beach, at the park, and just. It's a nice day. I'm just gonna chill right here. It's beautiful. Birds are chirping. Kids outside playing. Transmute it. That way, you're emotionally fulfilling yourself, and then you're taking those thoughts of it like, man, it would be nice to have somebody here. But you know what? This is a really good place. I never thought about, coming to this park. You know what? When I do take somebody on a date, I'm going to bring them to this park so they can be able to experience what I'm experiencing right here, right now. Think about the future. If that helps, think about the future and where you're going to be. And when you do meet that special person, like, man, I'm going to bring them here. That would be awesome. Because if I'm having fun by myself, and I meet somebody that's in alignment with me, and, they're going to like, the same things, because you definitely want to find somebody that has the same interests as you do, then, we can chill here together. And I can be like, hey, man, look, I came here by myself one time, man. It was awesome. Like the kids be outside just playing. You can ride little scooters. We can rent bikes and go up and down here. But it's this beautiful park at this beach, and that essentially is very appealing. I mean, you gotta think about it. If somebody's telling you about something about how much fun they had completely by themselves, you're like, well, shoot, and we have fun together. Heck yeah, that's about to be the bomb. We really about to have some fun. And that's even very appealing when you think about it. You know, if somebody can come forth and tell you that, like, oh yeah, no, I took myself out on dates all the time. Or, you know, if you call somebody like, hey, you want to go to lunch with me? Yeah, I'm sitting out at lunch. Oh, you're not going to go? Okay, well, I'm not going to go. Doesn't that make you feel a little, I mean, because, you know, once again, you know, we're responsible for our own emotions, but it's like, well, why can't, if that's what you really want to do, why, go ahead and go. You don't have to have me there, you know? You know, you don't have to have me, and, you know, some people, you know, play that so they can manipulate in a way for you to come so you can feel bad. You're like, all right, fine. Well, I don't want them to be all lonely and feeling all depressed. And but then you're going and you necessarily don't want to go, and you're just like, all right, well, what we about to do? You know, now I have to be here and able for you to be happy. That forms codependency. We're not trying to do that. You know, trying to be independent. You know, be able to be one within ourselves. And it does take time. It takes time. It takes a lot of realness with yourself, a lot of awareness with yourself. You know, I've always wanted to go out on a road trip, and I always felt like that, you know, I needed somebody else to go with me. Well, I don't want to do it by myself because, you know, then I'm just going to be sitting here all by myself and not have any fun. And, you know, how can I? I had a blast. I had a blast. I had a absolute blast by myself. It took hours, hours to get to where I had to go, but I had a complete blast. When I did feel like conversing and talking to other people, it would come up. It would just naturally come up. I didn't go out looking for anybody. No, like I would happen to come across people that had crystal necklaces and hey man, that's a cool necklace. Where you get? Oh yeah, I got it from so and so and so and so. Oh man, I didn't even see yours. And you know, we just started conversing. And I ended up talking to a gas attendant for a good 20, 30 minutes just about crystals. And then we started talking about other stuff, you know? And it was cool. And then think about, you know, them being at work and being able to, you know, it's been times you've been at work and had a random conversation with somebody and was like, man, you know, that kind of brightened up my day. Not only you brighten up your day, you brighten up somebody else's day. Put that negative energy on the back, like, nope, you don't serve me, and bring forth that positive energy. Like, you know what? Because we don't need anybody outside of ourselves. We need ourselves. We need to be in alignment with us, with ourselves first. Be balanced and healthy within ourselves, you know, and we're not perfect. By all means, we're far from perfect. But being able to be alone is also being able to recognize our own flaws, the stuff that we do need to work on, the stuff that, like, yeah, you know what, I do have a little bit of trouble with that. So then when you do come into a relationship, you could be authentic as much as you possibly can because we all grow on a day-to-day basis. And be like, you know what, I'm not going to say a lot of you, you know, I struggle a little bit with, you know, a little bit of trust. Not saying that, you know, it's just, you know, I've been burned in the past and, you know, I'm struggling with that. But I'm open minded, I'm open hearted, and I'm not just gonna let, you know, something from the past affect me where I am now. I'm not gonna carry that baggage into here because everybody is different. Everybody, I'm not going to treat you as if you have already done something and you have it. But that's being real with oneself and taking time to, you know, truly being able to embrace our own, you know, flaws that, you know, we are trying to work through. We can't be that real and open with somebody else if we can't be that real and open with ourselves. So to be able to get through emotional emotional lack, we have to give those emotions to ourselves. We have to love ourselves. Everything about us. Everything about us. You know, we might come across find out, you know, we have road rage at in traffic jams. You know, I get it. I used to have horrible road rage. Now I don't because now I sit back and go, yeah, somebody can cut me off. And me like, you know what? Maybe they have an emergency. Maybe they're trying to get to their kid. Maybe they're late for work. We done all been there and be like, come on, man, I can't get no more points. Man, you gotta get out my way. They don't want to be fired. They're trying to get to work. So that stuff like that, it doesn't even bother me. And that was something I worked on last summer too. Like it doesn't bother me anymore. It's just like now sometimes it's like, okay, that was a little uncalled for. That was a little dangerous. You just like we could have gotten into an accident. What if that car in front of you slammed on your brakes and you just squeezed in here and now we in like a four-car pile up? Like that's sometimes I have those conversations like that wasn't safe. That wasn't safe at all. I'm just going ahead and put on my blinker and get into the other lane, and that way you can do whatever it is you need to do and get to wherever it is you got to get to. But those are the conversations that I have. Like I don't know what you got going on right now. I hope everything's okay, but I'ma just go in my lane. I'm gonna leave that lane for you. I'm gonna go into this other lane. This lane will be my lane now. Go ahead and do what you got to do. But it's still coming from a place of truth and honesty, and as well as not blaming others for how we feel and how we think. It's what I am responsible for. Apparently, can't really talk all that good right now. I am responsible for how I feel and how I think and how I react and behave and respond in any given situation in my environment. Nobody else can make me feel anything. Nobody else can make me think anything. Can they trigger certain thoughts and emotions? Yes. But we have to be aware of how we move. Somebody does something that usually 9 times out of 10 pisses you the hell off, and you're like, you know what? I'm in a good place. Even if you gotta talk to yourself and they look at you like you're crazy, you're like, you know what? I'm just breathe, Xavier. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Maybe they're having a bad day. And it's not excusing any behavior. It's just getting yourself balanced, attuned, in alignment, and then balancedly, balancedly, and healthily, and in a healthy way, moving forward. Like, okay, you know what? I don't appreciate that. That was not okay. And moving forward instead of just reacting to it. And oh well, you know what? You know, that's just gonna cause more stuff. Now you sitting there arguing, and now you all bent out of shape, and they, bent out of shape, and who wants all of that? Who wants all of that? Not saying that it's not gonna be times you're gonna get mad. Yeah, we have a right to feel how it is that we're going to feel. Like, you know what? I'm pissed off. This is not okay. But the more practice we have and with ourselves and in smaller situations, when those bigger situations come about, we're going to be able to move through them a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot flawless with less negativity attached to it. And we're not going to embody that and dwell there. Because we can get caught up in our emotions and just stay stuck there and stagnant. Now that one thing that literally messed up your whole day. 5 minutes end up messing up the other 23 hours and 55 minutes of the day. We ain't about to do that. We're not about to do that. We just about, even if it takes you an hour, like, you know what, let me listen to some music. Let me woosah. Breathe, meditate, go swim, take a spiritual bath, light a candle, light some lavender or sage, and you're like, I'm not going to let it get me down today. Think about the things that you do have going for you. Even if you are, feeling lonely or, because I keep going back to loneliness because apparently this is what Spirit is giving me to talk about. If you are feeling alone, think about the stuff that you can do alone, that you can't do with somebody else. Like meditate, like take just a bath by yourself and light a candle. Take a nap if a nap does make you happy. I know some people that love taking a nap. They be excited, like, yes, I get to go home and take a nap. Yes. take a nap. You know, binge watch a show that most your friends don't necessarily like, or people might find it might be weird and be like, well, why do you watch a bunch of documentaries? Binge watch a bunch of documentaries. Read a book. That's something you really can't do with somebody else. Read a book. Read a book. Write. Do something creative that you do enjoy that you can't necessarily do with somebody else. Paint a picture. Bake some cookies. Uh, Meal prep. Fly a kite. Ride a bike. I mean, well, two people can do it if it's the double. Ride a bike. But y'all get what I'm saying. You know? Stuff that you can't garden. Um, do a reading on yourself. If got some tarot cards, go crystal shopping by yourself and get in tune to, you know, learn a new language. Play solitaire. Play words with friends. You know, yeah, it's essentially playing with somebody else, but it's a plethora of people online. You end up playing with people that you ain't never met. Anything. Go get your hair cut. Get your nails done. Get a pedicure. A pedicure. Get a massage. Do laundry. Clean your house. Rearrange your CDs and books. You know, play with your puppy or your cat. Feed your goldfish. Find the things that do light you up. So then we don't dwell there. And then that's emotional fulfillment. And yes, it's going outside, but you being able to feel good about yourself is still giving to yourself. It's nurturing for you. It's taking care of you. You gotta sit back and think about it. Like, man, well, what? Why am I? Why do I feel lonely? Why do I? That's something you can't do with somebody else. Nobody else essentially knows. You could discuss it with friends and family and close acquaintances and someone you're in a relationship with. But essentially, that's for you to discover. That's for you to find out. Only you truly know where the core issue lies, or go to therapy. There is absolutely nothing wrong. There's a lot of stigma behind going to therapy because, oh, well, there's something wrong with you. You have to be crazy. No, it's getting an objective viewpoint from somebody outside of yourself, outside of the situation, that has experiences and or education behind helping you find the core issue. They're not going to be able to do it, but they can assist you in techniques and ways and things that they've learned from books that other people have practiced, and you might even come up with a new plan together. Like, what, I ain't even think, we gonna wing it, and come up with something, because by all means they're not gonna be able to pinpoint it because they didn't live your life, but they will be able to assist you to getting to that core issue. You ever notice you're in therapy and all they kind of do is ask you probing questions to get you to talk, to open up, and then you go, well, do you think that is this? That's all they're doing, is purposely triggering events and memories and past emotions to find out and asking you, is this what this is? We might need that other person to get to start that triggering downfall of whatever it is to get to that core issue, because it might be questions that we don't necessarily think to answer ourselves, and go, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think, what, that could damn well be what it is. Well, I ain't even, well, I'll be dang on. Oh shit, turkey mushrooms. I didn't even think about that. But all right, we're already at like 49:27. Hey, 11 or Lord, 11. That's 9 plus 2. Lord help me. 13, 4. Starting the foundation. That's a foundation. Being real with yourself. But we gonna get way more into this because I mean this is just a very very brief synopsis of a generalization of emotional lack. But also know that you are not alone. You know, everybody goes through a time where it's like, okay, let me take time out, regardless of, you know, where you are, you know, and be like, man, you know what, I just need time for me. But the first time you do that, you actually learn to love being by yourself. And I know it's a little bit, might be a little bit more difficult for people who are extroverts. You know, I'm an introvert, so it's not necessarily that difficult being alone time, but it was from my personal growth. It was being completely honest of things that could have hurt me that you know I didn't necessarily want to admit to myself and going, you know what, yeah, that actually really did hurt me, and trying to be, you know, this Superman and like, no, that didn't hurt me. No, I'm good. And just go, you know what, no, no, that actually really did. That actually really did. Because this and this and this and this. Well, what made me feel like that? Well, you know what? The first time I felt like that, I was 12, or so and so, and I ain't even. Hmm. Okay. Well, you know, not now I'm able to heal from it. Because 9 times out of 10, you know, it came from something long ago. You know, childhood, teenagehood, young adulthood, from our parents. Because as much as we love our parents, you know, they're the first people that we experience a lot of situations with. You know, whether it's loneliness, lack, trust, um, the ability to open up, betrayal, you know, forgiveness, and is realizing, you know, everybody's people. Everybody's people. Everybody is a person, and nobody's perfect. We are imperfectly perfect, and for whatever reason that happened, you know, it happened for a reason to make me stronger. You know, to be able to, okay, now I know what that emotion is. So, you know, when somebody else, I can actually help somebody else through that emotion because I personally felt it. I personally went through it. Your pain turns into your testimony, which then now you're able to help others, you know, and be that lighthouse for them. Know that whatever it is that we're going through becomes a testimony, becomes your strength. Because within that testimony, it shows that, hey, you know what? I can make it, you can too. And I know that sounds super cliche because we hear that a lot, but it's so true. It's so true. Think about all the other things that you have accomplished and gone through and been able to, and you thought that you just wasn't going to make it out that situation, but you did. You here. And although, yeah, you know, you might still be healing from it, you still made it out that situation. So it still becomes a testimony. It still a testimony. And when there's a testimony, there's strength. And where there's strength, there's power. There's power within yourself, not power over somebody else. It's power within yourself and over a situation, over energies, not a person. You know, you can't. You know, don't want to dominate somebody, but it's good to be able to dominate and channel those energies. They have dominance over a situation. Like, you know what? Regardless, I'm gonna stand up. You fall 7 times, you stand up 8. Old Chinese proverb. The Where I read that at, the author was unknown. I'm gonna leave that right there because it's 54. That's 9. That's completions right there. That's ending the cycles right there. So all right, y'all. We'll go ahead and get up out of here. It's your boy X. Kind of forever. Like, share, subscribe. Everything's below in the drop box. Bye. Peace.